Many of the databases to which the university library subscribes allow users to create RSS feeds from the results of an article search. These databases also allow the creation of feeds from the content of journals, both individually and in groups. Let's start by using EBSCOhost's Academic Search Premier. The first thing I want to do is to type in my search terms. I'm going to use schizophrenia and smoking. I type in my search terms as I normally would, and then I conduct my search, and from the results list you can see there's a small orange RSS icon on the upper left hand side. If I click on this, EBSCO will provide me with an RSS window. This RSS window provides my URL or my RSS feed. Now at this point I can do either of two things. I can highlight the feed and copy it, and then I can add it to my web-based feed reader of choice. Now I use Google Reader, and it has an option where I can simply click a button called Add a Subscription, and I'm presented with a text box. I can paste my feed URL into that text box, click Add, and my feed reader will add the feed to my list of feeds on the left-hand side and the content on the right-hand side. As you can see, here is the content. Now the great thing about this is that every single time I access my feed reader, the content will be automatically refreshed. The search will be conducted new, and I'll see new content. Now I can also simply click on the link, and my browser will attempt to add this to my feed reader of choice. I have pre-configured my browser to add all RSS feeds to my web-based feed reader, which is Google Reader. I click on the link, and my browser presents me with a choice screen. As you can see, it says Add to Google Reader. I click on that Add button, and my browser will add it to my feed reader. As you can see here, my feed reader has listed the content on the right-hand side, and the listing for the feed itself is on the left-hand side. And of course, again, every single time I access my feed reader, this search will be refreshed and I'll see new content. Now, EBSCOhost provides a second way to access RSS feeds, or to create RSS feeds from journal content, and that is from simply selecting a journal and viewing the entire current contents of that journal. I can do this by going to the top of my search screen, clicking Choose Databases, and I'm presented with a Databases screen. Now, on the upper left-hand side of that Databases screen, I need to click Detailed View. I then am presented with the Detailed View screen, which also presents a detailed description of the database, and below that description you'll see a link that says Title List. I need to move my mouse cursor down to the title list and click on it, and then I'll be presented with a list of titles within that database. And as you can see, next to each title is a small orange RSS icon, and if I click on that icon, I'm presented again with the RSS window from EBSCOhost, in which I can do the same things that I described earlier, which is either click on it and have it added automatically to my feed reader of choice, or I can highlight it and copy it and add it manually in case I use a different kind of feed reader. Okay, now there's a second way of creating an RSS feed from journal content, and that is by simply choosing a grouping of journals. I can click on the checkboxes next to each journal title, and then move my cursor up to the top of the listing screen and click Add. Now that creates a search in EBSCOhost for the content of these particular journals. If I click on Search, I then retrieve a result of all of the content for all of these journals. And as you can see, here is the content listing, the most recent first, and then of course the small orange RSS icons at the top of the search results screen. And I can click on that, and I'm presented with the RSS window, and I can click on the link and I can add it to my feed reader. And there we go. And the content for this grouping of journals is now in my feed reader. Now the second database I want to show you how to use is ScienceDirect. Now ScienceDirect is a little bit more difficult than EBSCOhost. When you're on the ScienceDirect homepage, you need to move your mouse cursor to the top of the ScienceDirect screen. You'll see the search button and the menu options, and click the search button, and then you'll be presented with the advanced search screen. Now when you are presented with the advanced search screen, it's important to remember to use the bottom advanced search, not the top quick search, but the bottom advanced search. Otherwise, you will not be presented with your RSS icon. I'm going to type in my search terms and then conduct my search as I normally would. And I'm going to use the same search term that I used in EBSCOhost. And when I'm presented with my results list in a few moments, you will see from my results list there is an orange RSS feed icon at the top of my results list. I can click on this and I'll be presented with my RSS feed options. Now, as you can see, the RSS feed options that ScienceDirect offers are a bit more complex than, say, EBSCOhost. There's my link, and below my link you can see these small buttons. Now, these buttons are pre-configured to add your feed to the feed reader, which is listed on the face of the button. If you click on the button itself, it will attempt to add it to that web-based feed reader. Of course, I use Google, so if I click on the link itself, my browser will attempt to add it to Google Reader. And there's my option. I can click on it and add it as before. Now, ScienceDirect also allows you to create RSS feeds from journal content. To do this, you need to move your cursor to the top of the screen and go to the home page. And once at the home page, you'll see on the left-hand side a browsable list of journal titles, either by title or by subject. I'm going to go by subject and choose chemistry. Now I'm presented with a screen of journal titles indexed under that subject heading. Now the important part here is to first find the orange RSS icon next to the journal title in which you're interested. And then once you find a journal title which has an RSS feed attached to it, you need to make sure that we subscribe to that journal title. And that is indicated by a green key. If you can find both of those items, then you can subscribe to that journal title's feed. And you can do this by simply clicking on the orange RSS icon, and you'll be presented with the same window as we saw previously. And you can copy that feed and paste it in, or you can simply click on it and have your browser attempt to add it to your web-based feed reader of choice. Now, the second way to do this, to add journal content from individual journals to your RSS feed reader, is to simply go to the alphabetical list and find your journal alphabetically. You get the same results screen. You make sure the same criteria exist for your journal: green key, access, and the orange RSS icon. And you can simply, again, click on the orange RSS icon, and you'll be presented with the same screen as you were previously. And you can add this to your feed reader of choice again. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining us, and I hope that everything I showed you was informative and useful, and remind you that you can find these databases at www.lib.usm.edu.